It's official, the new Marshall JMP Synergy Module is here, and it's so good. It's better than a real plexi. So in this video, we're gonna have some fun and try it out, right? Let's start right away with a demo track. Take a listen. All right, that sounded so good. So that was this guitar, my ESP EII Eclipse Vintage Honeyburst, full thickness with the Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge, going into the Synth 20 IR, in which I have the Marshall JMP module loaded up on the top channel, on the 70s mode, on the B power structure setting, going into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 ISO cabinet, in which I've loaded up my Celestion G12M Greenback, mic'd up with 3 microphones, 2 SM57s and 1 MB421 Kompakt, sent into the DAW, and that's it, all right. And that's the same signal chain that you'll be hearing in a moment when we dial in some tones. So yeah, Marshall and Synergy decided to collaborate together on making some killer modules, and I think it's a great idea. And I honestly think that this JMP is kind of, especially for me, way better than a real plexi. I have a Marshall SV20H plexi, 20-watt plexi. It's a really fun amplifier, but it's loud. It's a non-master volume amp, so you really have to crank it up super loud in order to get that saturation, right? I also have a 50-watt plexi clone, cool amp, but so loud. But with this module, you can get all those tones and more, and at any level you like, basically, because they included that 0-watt phase inverter thing, which sort of emulates the sound of a cranked plexi. So it sounds as if it's cranked up all the way at a normal level. Isn't that crazy? And it does really, really do that plexi magic. And in a 20-watt compact package like this, you even get the option to change the reactance. You can use IRs. For me, it's a superior experience to using a real plexi, especially a 100-watt plexi. I'm sure it has its magic. I'm sure, you know, on stage or in a big arena. But for me, as a recorder, I love this so much. So that's a huge benefit of this module, the fact that you can get those cranked tones at a lower level. I'm using an ISO cab, but I'm not using it at a very loud level. So right now I have the tone dialed in that I had in the intro track as well. Let's take a quick listen once again so you can hear the guitar isolated. It's so much fun. It has that cranked sound, right? It has that bite, that snarl, and that raw punch. I love it a lot. Yeah, it's so much fun. Anyway, so let me show you the controls, because in terms of the controls, this thing has some stuff to offer that you don't get with a real plexi. All right, so for starters, we have 2 channels that you can dial in completely individually, which is awesome. So it's kind of like having 2 plexis, right? So you could dial in a nice clean tone on the bottom one, for example, and on the top channel, have a nice and gnarly crunch tone like I have right now. Each channel also has a 60s and a 70s switch. The 70s switch is a little bit more tight and fierce. We'll try them both in a second. Then for each channel, we have 2 volume controls. So a normal volume and a bright volume, if you know what I mean. But something else that the plexis don't have are these bright switches over here. So each channel, or each volume control for each channel, has its own dedicated 3-way bright switch. And those are very powerful, as I'll also show you in a minute. Then we have this 3-band EQ over here per channel, and a volume control. So it's not super difficult, but it's very flexible, especially in comparison, again, to a real plexi, right? Yeah. Anyway, so let's not get crazy here. As you can see, I'm on the top channel right now. I think in terms of colors, we have a green channel and a red channel. They both sound identical as far as I can tell. So again, nice crunch. This is with the 60s mode. Let me switch it to the 70s mode. It's, in my opinion, a bit of a subtle difference, but it's definitely there. So yeah, a little bit more grindy. Let's flick back and forth. So the 60s mode is a little bit more polite. Let's leave it on the 60s mode for now. All right, so let me demonstrate what the bright switches do. Let me turn down volume 1. So we're just on volume 2. Which is the warmer channel of the 2. If I were to do the opposite, with the bright switches on the same setting, much more bright and sparkly, right? Just as on a real plexi, this is the treble volume and this is the normal volume. So if you're thinking that this is a bit too bright, on a jumpered plexi, you would just blend some of this in there. Until you reach the desired thickness in the low end, or vice versa. Anyway, let's stick with, again, with volume 2, so the normal volume to start, and let's try the bright switch. Let me lower the gain a little bit. Because with lower gain settings, the bright switch will have a more drastic effect. So right now we are on the bottom setting for this volume control. Let me go to the middle setting. Definitely the warmest setting, right? Has a huge impact on the gain response as well. And then the top setting. Sounds fine, but I do prefer that bitey sound. So the bottom setting, especially for this channel, is my favorite. Let's once again try the 70s mode. Has that signature Marshall bark. I love it so much. Now let's do the same thing with the other volume control. Sounding very bright, obviously. That's going to work better with a neck pickup, as you can hear. Very bright indeed. So right now we are on the bottom setting. Once again, let's move it over to the middle setting. Much more fat and less bright. So if you were to use this volume channel alone, this could be a good setting for sure, or for single coil pickups and stuff. Let's also try the top setting. Again, the bottom setting, and let's crank the gain here, because as you'll hear, this one has more gain on tap than any old plexi that I've ever played, at least. Let me crank this up all the way and let you guys hear it. So yeah, that's plenty of gain. It's not quite modern saturation, if you will. It's not a rectifier. It's still a plexi, but I love that there is more gain on tap, especially if we add even more with the volume 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like modded Marshall territory right there in terms of the amount of gain. Let's dime both. Obviously, that's a bit too fat, right? So let's take this back a little bit. And the 60s mode once again. So yeah, I definitely think you know, the 60s mode, as I used in the intro track, is a bit more polite. The 70s mode is just a bit more fierce. Let's try the EQ real quick. As you can see, I have mid and treble set to 3 o'clock and bass to 12 o'clock. Let me lower the gain a touch to get a good sort of general rock crunch. Man, I love how much gain there is on tap. Let's dial it back even more. Perfect. All right, let's start with the bass control. And usually with plexi amps, these tone controls are a bit subtle, but we'll see what happens. That's definitely a more tight sound, so if you were to crank up volume 2 a bit to add more thickness, lowering the bass control sort of helps to compensate for that, right? It's a musical sounding EQ, but definitely on the subtle side. Let's try the mid control. That's with mids all the way off and all the way up. I mean, you can play around with it, but again, it's quite subtle, right? Let's try the treble control. It's so cool how on the muted notes you really get that cranked plexi sound. Yeah, fantastic. The cool thing about the Synergy stuff, especially the Syn 20IR, is that you get plenty of options in the amp itself to shape the tone. So if you find this tone to be too brittle or, you know, whatever, then you've got this reactance control that you can use to either make it darker or brighter, but that would be too bright. Let's try the power structures for a sec. I'm on B, let's go to A. And then again to B. And finally, C. So you get to choose the power amp voicing as well. How cool is that? As you can tell, I'm very excited about this. Usually I get very excited about more modern voiced amps with high gain and stuff, but this is hitting the spot for me somehow. It's really doing it for me. So I'm really enjoying this, as you can tell. Let's dial in one final tone. Let's add a little bit more thickness over here and some volume 1 as well. Let's make it nice and thick. And let's tune to drop D because that's what I usually do. Great. One final thing for the people who like touch responsiveness, let's dial down the volume. So I'm on the neck pickup right now with the volume turned quite low. And then when we switch to the bridge pickup, so yeah, it's glorious. I can't stop playing, but I will. So yeah, that was the new Marshall JMP Synergy Module paired with the Syn 20IR in this particular video. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How did it sound to you guys? Also, if you want to get one of these, either the Syn 20IR or the Marshall or the ESP, please check out my affiliate links for Thomann or Sweetwater. That really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the folks at BAD for sending this over. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Please also hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.